We also get feedback about labor, not just hours, but staff retention, because it is very difficult to replace people. And it's also difficult to assign people to do this kind of monotonous, repetitive, tedious work.
Welcome to the Insurance Refocused podcast, where we're highlighting real agent stories and how they are innovating to respond to the changes and challenges happening in the independent insurance industry. My name's Lindsay, and I can't wait to introduce you to my amazing co-host, who just so happens to be my mom, Carey Wallace. Mom, how you doing today?
I am having a fantastic day, Lindsay. I was at an unbelievable conference this week with some of my favorite people. And so I'm really excited. I'm having a great day. How's your day going?
It's going good. I feel like the whole week is going good. Today's a Friday that we're recording. So we'll try to put Friday vibes into this for any of those listeners who are listening on a Tuesday. But this week, I feel like we have had, you just went to an event, but we also had a couple webinars earlier this week. One with a state association where the biggest takeaway was the agents wanted to learn more about bots and AI. So it made me even more excited to record today. So I'm really excited that we have Raul Guerra from Alleviant VBOTS here to join us. And we're going to chat all about bots and RPA and AI on how it's going to help independent agents. Hey, Raul, how's it going? Raul?
Great. It's good to see you. Good to meet you. Very excited and honored at this opportunity. So hopefully I can share some information of value to your clients.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, since I started at Agency Focus 4 or 5 months ago, I've had the chance to travel quite a bit with my mom and listen into the questions the agencies are asking, what they're really excited to share with each other, what people look absolutely stone-faced when other people are sharing and need more information on and they're scared of. And just about at the top of the list in all of those conversations is bots. So I'm really pumped. There is a lot of uncertainty in our industry right now about bots overall. So before we get started, let's, humanize you a little bit. Tell the people, the listeners, how you got into RPA solutions and into this whole world.
So Alleviant, our organization, has been in the digital transformation industry, the digital transformation business for 20 plus years, 22 now. And we have always had a very clear focus, and our mission is to serve small and mid-sized businesses. So we have developed for small and mid-sized companies of all industries, websites and mobile applications and sophisticated integrations with other large providers like the Oracles and so on. But we, in 2022, it was late summer of 2022, one of our existing clients, who happened to be an independent insurance industry agency in Dallas, came to us with a problem. And her agency was having to struggle with a large amount of data and populating it into their agency management system. And they didn't want to hire part-time and interns, and it was going to take months, literally, to get that data in there. One of our engineers looked on the problem and said, this is a perfect application for robotic process automation, RPA bots. And so we began gathering her requirements. We put together the bot, and literally in a weekend, the bot populated all of that raw data from Excel spreadsheets into her agency management system, saved her tons and tons of money, but the amount of time that it saved was just phenomenal. Following that, we went to that fall of 22, we went to an Applied Client Network event down in Fredericksburg, Texas, of all places. And we just gave a 15-minute presentation on RPA, and that was the beginning. That year, 22, in that fourth quarter, we sold 5 bots. In 2023, we sold 25 bots. And last year, we sold 50 bots. So the growth curve is just phenomenal. And it's unfortunate that the smaller and mid-size independent insurance agencies we are observing are very underserved when it comes to technology and their understanding. Although they are being pushed heavily from software providers, many of them have battle scars talking about, well, we tried this, spent a lot of money, and just didn't never get the return.
Well, Raul, that could not be more true, is what I'm trying to say. I feel like in my world, we're talking to agents and trying to help them figure out how to become more efficient, how to become more profitable, how to deal with the changes that are happening in our environment in general. I mean, there's a ton of people aging out. There's a talent need and gap. There's all these forces. We're in a hard market and there's an awful lot of work to be done for rewrites. As the market softens, there are going to be even more rewrites. Like, the body of work is getting greater. Sometimes the amount of talent they have is shrinking. And, it is a super, super big challenge. And there's all these different technology options out there. And if you try something and it doesn't work, your staff becomes more and more reluctant to try something new. So I think there is some reluctance, no question about it, in general. It doesn't matter what the technology is. I agree with that 1,000%. And it has to be proven. People don't want to be on the cutting edge of some of these things, because if it doesn't work, how are we going to recover from it? So I totally agree with you. I love hearing that you did 1, then maybe 5, or whatever the numbers were, but it was a little bit gradual. What does it look like today with the number of agencies that are using RPA technology? What does that scope look like right now?
For our clients, we have now over 100 agencies that have got at least one bot. Many of our clients, I'm going to say 40% of them, are now on their second and third and fourth bots, and they still are looking for opportunities to automate. So the marketplace here in the U.S. and Canada, some of our largest clients are actually in Canada. But here in the U.S. and Canada, the marketplace is just exploding. And we are trying to preach a message that this technology, RPA, is a great on-ramp to get into the AI space, which I know we'll be talking about as well.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So tell me, for these clients, that you 100 or so clients that you have, for people that are like, I don't understand what you're talking about, you keep saying bots, you think in mind like R2D2 is the thing that people think or whatever, and it's not that. I get it. What are some of the functions that agencies are using RPA technologies or bots for today? What are the most common?
So let me describe what a bot is to clarify, because it's not R2D2.
I know
it's not a big General Assembly robot arm. It's not that. So a bot in our domain is a software script. So the parallel that I draw when I speak with a lot of new prospects is, you may have had experience with Excel macros. Well, this goes far beyond that, but an Excel macro is a script that executes automatically within a workbook. The RPA bots are a script that will do things like log into carrier sites, download policy information, download endorsements. It will go into your agency management system. It'll create an activity. It'll send an outbound email to the appropriate insured or to the account manager, CSR, whoever. The bot is basically emulating or mimicking the exact work of a CSR or an account manager, when they're doing that very tedious, repetitive, monotonous work that we want to replace. And so some of the frequent use cases are direct bill commission statement reconciliation. That's one of the very top use cases. That's a very heavy lift on the accounting side. Also, notice of cancellation for non-payment and reinstatement. That's an entire process that takes 80, 90, 100 manual steps that can be done by a software script. We also have document retrieval from carrier websites, and those are just a few. But again, what you want to look for is where do we have people spending too many hours doing this very low cognitive, and I say that with all respect, but low cognitive repetitive work. That's what we want to replace with a bot.
Yeah. So I'm really glad that you defined that, because I oftentimes hear agencies saying an AI bot or they kind of mix up the words AI bot and AI bot, and they don't know that all three of those things are very different. In my mind, they're very different. Do you have the same impression that AI and bots are the same, or are they starting to merge?
They are starting to merge, and we actually are building new RPA automations with AI built in. And let me describe where the distinguishing factors are for our pure RPA bots and now RPA bots powered by AI. RPA bots are fantastic. They're going to be here for many, many years to come, and the opportunities for automation are limitless virtually inside agencies. But they do have some limitations. So the RPA bots are very much business rules driven. So you have to have very defined and very structured business rules that we will program into the bot, and then the bot will behave accordingly. The RPA bots also are focused on structured data. So again, we're looking for spreadsheets. We're looking for PDFs that have a certain format and structure, and then we're going to program the bot to read that and populate the agency management system. So those kind of begin to define the limitations of RPA. Now, introduce AI into RPA bots, and suddenly you have a whole new set of opportunities. You're adding cognitive decision making, the ability for bots to do contextual reasoning, to think essentially and make decisions based on the performance characteristics for that bot. They can work with unstructured data. So that literally means, going through huge policy documents, and I'll talk a little bit about those, and then finding the key insights and the differences, just like a person would laboriously read through a policy document. A bot can now do that at super speed and identify all of those differences.
So is that the biggest use case you're seeing for AI powered bots, the reading of the documents? Can you give us some more examples, if so?
Yes, document intelligence, which is that kind of capability, going through documents and doing comparisons and extracting information and looking for inferences and looking for differences, things like that. Document intelligence is one of the key capabilities, but another one right behind that is predictive capability. And predictive means that the bot is going to go through countless amounts of data. You think about every agency and all of the data that they have inside their agency management system. Well, all of that data is hiding inferences and insights and useful information that they're not able to extract. An AI-powered bot can go in and extract all those inferences and insights. Which are the policyholders that are likely to renew? Which are the policyholders that are unlikely to renew? And what can you do proactively? The bot will even suggest what you can do proactively to retain those clients. So the possibilities for predictive capability using your existing data sets are limitless. And then finally, the bot's ability to learn. The RPA bots, they have to be programmed to learn new instructions, but a AI-powered bot will actually intuitively begin learning because it looks at its outcomes, and based on the outcomes it achieves, it can start identifying new areas of learning and fold that into the AI bot.
Yeah. That one seems really, I think a lot of agencies could look at that solution if it didn't have, here's the suggested action, as it's kind of a shiny toy, but you really have to manually think through the follow through for the agents or the service people who are working those deals. I love the fact that it has red light, stop, iceberg. Okay, here's what you do with it, because then that really takes out a lot of the training or, manual process from the agency to have to actually get action after that iceberg is called. That's really cool. I like that.
It provides the why behind the what. So
Right.
here's an issue or opportunity, and here's why, and here's how you might be able to capture it. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's very cool.
So, as I'm listening to all of this, I'm thinking, what are happening in agents' mind as they're thinking about utilizing AI, utilizing RPA technology. And one of the things is security. Like a lot of people with using AI, they think, if I put my information in there, am I going to breach something? Am I going to have an exposure? Tell me how and honestly, it's one of the number one things that's rising as all technology is changing is data is incredibly valuable, especially in the line of work that we're talking about. So tell me about the data security and what how agents should be thinking about the confidential and private client data that could be analyzed using RPA technology or AI powered RPA.
So for our business, data security is sacred. Just stop in the sentence.
Mine too, by the way. Mine too, Yeah.
It is sacred. And we wanted to, and it's the reason that we're now just beginning to roll out our RPA AI powered bots. We wanted to make sure that anything and everything we did adhered to the highest standards of security and compliance and regulatory criteria. So the way that we deploy bots, and I'll also say that any of your agents that you're speaking with that are concerned about security, they're spot on, because there are service providers out there today that are saying, and we're powered by AI, but that powered by AI means that they're using a public chat GPT or public LLM, large language model, and that's not safe for secure policy records. So what we're doing that's different is that we are providing a proprietary large language model inside the secure network of our clients. So they're not having to go outside of their own secure network to access any kind of AI from a public LLM. Instead, that LLM is specific to their agency and it lives within their network, within their domain.
Yeah, it's huge factor. And I think there's a lot of people out there that are playing with AI and don't understand what you can, what you can't do. I mean, it's also evolving very, very rapidly. I saw a slide that really stuck with me, and how long it takes so many users to adapt all kinds of different platforms. So it said like LinkedIn was 3 months and 7 days or whatever it was, 3 years and 7 months for it to get 100 million users, where ChatGPT was something like 3 weeks or something super crazy. You know what I mean? Like the adoption level, but people do it without a lot of knowledge. You think about anything, once you use it for a while, then you realize, oh, wait, there's ramifications to this. And maybe I shouldn't think about it the way that so I love that people are talking about it, but I wish more people understood what outside, AI that's open and what's the difference between open and closed and what should go in which things and where you should do it. I think we're all still really trying to learn that. So it's great to hear the difference of that. So you know what I do, which is help people make strong financial decisions, right?
Yes.
And so talk to me about some of these uses. Like we have a common client that one of which is using 4 different bots in their agency. And so tell me, once you create this bot, is it repeatable, or does every bot have to be very customized to every agency? Is there an off the shelf, or is there a upfront, you've got to build it specific for agencies?
So there are providers out there that provide an off the shelf bot in a box, I will say.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
what they're providing is a predefined bot, and then they tell their client, okay, now fit your process to match our bot. That's not
Ah.
what we do. What we do is we provide each of our clients, because let's take a set of applied Epic agencies as an example. It could be Vertafore AMS 360 agencies. They all do notice of cancellation processing, but none of them do it identically the same way. Each of
Right.
them does it their own specific way that's grown through their own improvement in processes and their own staff and how they want to treat their clients. So we don't say, here's a bot, fit your process to our bot. Instead, we will go find out, how do you do cancellation for non-payment? We follow how their process steps, and then we will configure the bot to line up precisely with their model. So it might be 6 workflows or 7 workflows for one agency client, and it might be 8 or 9 workflows for another. They all get a tailored bot. Yeah.
Yeah, makes perfect sense. And honestly, I think, if you want to be independent, you need to remain independent. And the whole goal isn't to make everybody do it the same, because the reality is how they engage with their customers, how their staff engages, what their staff structure could all impact that. And that would be very limiting. So I love that answer. No doubt about it. Okay. So from a financial standpoint, we talked about, that's not off the shelf. So whenever you're making these kinds of investments, you got to think about, what's the ROI? Like, what's my upfront cost? How does it work into my system? I think everybody understands the time savings that would happen here, but tell me how an agency should look at that. How do I calculate the ROI here?
So it is time savings primarily, but we also have, and this is agency feedback coming back to us, that they are getting huge savings as a result of reduced or eliminated errors. Bots don't transpose digits. Bots don't get fatigued. Bots don't make mistakes, basically. And we also get feedback about labor, not just hours, but staff retention, because it is very difficult to replace people. And it's also difficult to assign people to do this kind of monotonous, repetitive, tedious work, especially if you're looking to, like you mentioned earlier, there's a lot of retirement happening, and you can't find a good, fresh go-getter that's going to want to sit there hour after hour. So we kind of help our agent prospects with a rule of thumb that says that if you can save 30 or more hours per month by automating a given process, 30 hours, labor hours or more per month, you will have a positive return on that bot investment. We call that a self-funding bot, which means that it's bringing more value back to the agency in time savings than the monthly recurring fee for the bot.
Yeah. I want to highlight something that you didn't say, is you didn't say that the savings were to replace any staff. They actually helped retain and keep your existing staff, right? So bots aren't here to replace the existing staff. Have you seen any bots like completely take over someone's job and they weren't needed at all at the agency anymore?
No, our agency clients, the clients that are on this kind of the forward thinking edge of adding this kind of automation, they're wanting to grow and grow rapidly. So they're buying books of business, every quarter or twice a year. They're doing what you were describing, Carey, about looking for areas to enhance the value of their agency. So they're looking to allow Jim to stop doing that, busy work. Again, that's their words, and allow their wonderful staff who has licenses and credentials and expertise and experience to help contribute to marketing programs and to develop real client, strong relationships. Yeah. So no, it's not an issue of taking over. It's an issue of retention and growing.
Yeah. I just wanted to highlight that there because That I feel like oftentimes that's something agencies are scared of. And I didn't hear you say that at all in how am I making a profit off of this? You're not firing your staff. You're just taking your staff and you're moving them into areas where they're either revenue generating, they are creating relationships, or they're doing something that helps the growth of the agency rather than add remove driver or download these documents off of a carrier portal or all of those things.
Yeah.
I like to think of it as you're putting them in their highest and best. You're literally where their brain cannot be replaced. You're putting them in the position where they have to use that reasoning, etc., rather than the things that you don't have. You said it, mindless things people should not have to do, right?
They should not today.
Yeah.
We went to one conference. We were talking about a conference, and the topic touched on, it was an AI, but it touched on RPA as well. And the gentleman who was speaking called it dehumanizing work. And I thought, oh my God, that's a little bit too strong for me.
It's a little aggressive.
A little aggressive, but you get the message. I mean, he said this to a broad audience of agency owners. And I thought, it is an aggressive way to describe it, but no, people should not be doing that kind of work today. It can be done by a software script. And it's time.
Raul, I could talk to you all day long about this because I'm fascinated by it. But what I will also say is, if I'm fascinated by this because I see the impact that it's having on an agency's value, on their capacity, on their ability to expand and not have it be the way we've always done it, and be able to expand their scope. It's really fascinating to me. And I think that it is what's going to change the way we think about our team, the way we think about the work we do. And it unlocks some possibilities of things we've never done before, which is pretty cool. So I appreciate you coming and spending time with us. And I am sure this is not the last time you will be on our podcast, because we'll have questions for you. So feel free. I mean, just know we're going to be knocking on your door to come back and talk to us again.
I'm here to help. Please don't hesitate. I'm here to help.
Well, thank you for being our guest.
Thank you so much. I appreciate the opportunity. Take care.
Thanks so much for tuning in to the Insurance Refocused podcast. If you enjoyed the episode, please be sure to hit subscribe and leave us a review so you'll never miss us. Want to learn more about how Agency Focus can help you grow your agency? Head to agency-focus.com or email Carey directly at carey@agency-focus.com. If you need to get in touch with me, feel free to shoot me an email at lindsay@agency-focus.com. Thanks so much for tuning in. We'll see you next week.